Okay, we're going to start looking at some detail at this connector right here. As I said earlier, this connector right here is one of the two that connects up with the master section, the master module. So let's turn to that over here. On the master module, on the master PCB, we've got a couple of those connectors, and then also there is a connector PCB that goes across the whole mess, like so. Now, that first connector, this one right here, that actually connects up with this connector PCB. And the funny thing is, the ground wire goes to this first of 8 pins. And that is this one right here. And the thing is, that goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That goes to pin 8 of connector 1 on the master, or on the master PCB. This is the left-right master PCB. This is the aux master and matrix master PCB, and then we have our 8 group master PCBs. Okay, so this is our main bus master PCB. So again, that ground pin right here, which is on this first pin of that receptacle, goes to pin 8 of connector 1 on the master PCB. And when we look down there, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you probably can't tell, but take my word for it, it goes nowhere. And we can confirm that when we look at the schematic for the master PCB. And it's a little confusing with these schematics, because these schematics do not reference this connector PCB. So you've got to kind of work your way back from that. At any rate, let's look here. See, we have connector 1 over here. And if we go to pin 8, it goes nowhere. Okay, so that rules that one out. Right? We know that ground doesn't go anywhere yet. Now if we follow that down to the next one, which is the aux master PCB, that goes to pin 10 of the aux master PCB and of connector 1. Same thing, take my word for it, it goes nowhere. And same exercise if we look at that. Here's connector 1, and we start at pin 1 here all the way down to pin 10. Nothing, goes nowhere. So I'm confirming visually and schematically that so far this ground wire right here doesn't go anywhere. from its interface with this connector PCB for the master section. Then as we follow that trace down, we continue on with pin 10 of each of the group master PCBs. I'm just going to flip this over and double check and make sure. And indeed, we can look across here. You know, you can count up from this is pin 1. Well, let's look at it this way. This is that one right there, which you can see the trace goes here. That's pin 8, connector 1 for the master PCB. We hop up to pin 10 for the aux PCB master, and then straight on down to group 6, group master number 6. This is group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pin 10 all the way down. Same thing. When I do that same exercise, so here's the master, aux master, group 1, and all the group PCBs are the same. We go to pin 10. The only place that it goes, there is a trace from pin 10, and if we follow that up, let's see here, if we follow that up, it goes to the common contact of this switch up here, and these are simply the meter source select switches. So in the end, this ground point on this connector, the only place that goes is non-audio to the meters, is to the ground reference for the meter source select switches. And we'll go ahead and have a look at that group master schematic as well. Here's connector 1, pin 10. Does show it going somewhere right over here to switch 2, which that's the meter source, and then over here you can see they're daisy chained, and that is the way they work on 4 of those group PCBs, and then 2 of them only switch the meter function one way. On the first 4, the second switch is dependent on the position of the first, and then the output of that goes up to connector 2, and take my word for it, if we follow that from connector 2 to this connector PCB, it heads on up to the meter bridge. So no audio there. That is just a meter circuit. So next up we will look at this little guy.